Morning, welcome to Community Voice. We were having yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry. He spoke to me when I came in. What up, Clark? Yeah, 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 yeah. All right.
With you, fool.
So I did end the program yesterday saying if the good Lord willing the creek don't rise and I don't go to jail. I should have also had an addendum, so I'm adding the addendum, or I didn't go to the hospital.
Right.
You know, because I'm acting like that. I could have got my head peeled.
Man.
But I did talk to Rhonda after the program.
How did that go for you?
Oh man, she just crushed my little fantasy. She said, man. "No, I don't dress for you. I dress for me." Oh wow, man.
You were I wasn't in here. You were under the impression that your wife dresses for you?
No, we were having that conversation about do women, who do they dress for?
Yeah.
And a sister called in and said that, you know, women dress for other women. My wife said women dress for themselves. Now, my wife did say this, which is true. Now, when women on the hunt,
right? I was going.
When they're on the hunt, that's a different piece.
Yeah, they dress
you
for
go
the
into
attention.
the club.
Yeah,
and
you got your shirt button unbuttoned a little
down to
bit.
your navel.
Yeah, the navel.
Let him see the cleavage.
See everything, man. We were, you know, during the summer, I used to call Keon Big Sexy. Because he come in with his shirt unbuttoned, you know, his little chest hair. Hey, look at Big Sexy over there. Yeah, Taco me. Look at Big Sexy over there. But no, she did. I'm glad she didn't call in and embarrass me on the air saying that no, it ain't for you.
Man.
It ain't for you.
Yeah, wow. Man, I kind of felt some kind of way, man. I thought they was going through all of that, you know, just
well, again, if I'm on the prowl, remember that what was that? God, what was the movie? Sidney Poitier, Rod Steiger, Heat of the Night. And they playing that song on the prowl. So anyway, Brewers did win last night.
Yes, sir. Brewers beat Philly.
The Cubs win?
I think the Cubs won too.
Okay. All right. Hey, and I know she left, but today is first day of the NFL.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
Thursday night football tonight?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, opening night. Yeah. So the Philadelphia Pigeons are playing the
the Dallas Cowgirls.
Yeah, that should be.
Jeez. It's a whole new league right there.
Yeah, CFL. Company Football League.
Oh man. Should Micah Parsons play Sunday?
I say no.
I say no.
Just
no sister said no.
Yeah, man. Let him, you know, get a week or two.
Don't get hurt for the rest of the season. I know you want to get out there, and we want you healthy for the Cowboy game.
They say they say he's gonna take some shots and some pain medicine and what have you, and he gonna play.
Yeah, and I'd limit his snaps, man, because I don't know how much conditioning he got in doing training camp. And usually, what happens is if you're not usually in tip-top shape, you start hearing them hamstrings, hammies. Man. They pulling those hammies, man.
Hamstrings. Yeah.
So, yeah. So that starts tonight. That starts tonight.
Are you ready for some football?
I did watch the town hall that I guess it was town hall roundtable discussion they had yesterday with Judge Mosley, Deslin Smith, Adam Parcells, Vaughn Mays, and Reggie Moore. And I haven't said anything about this. I know Adam. I've worked with Adam through the whole piece. You know, we were, as a matter of fact, they had it yesterday at Community Warehouse, the whole reentry piece. It's called Home to Stay. And it was some of my takeaways was, and let's just kind of roll it all the way back. The mayor has the ultimate say on who will get that position. So we'll start there. The fact that they did this process, where in the past, I don't ever remember when, let's see, Anitra, she followed Reggie Moore. You all right? Oh, okay. We turn the air conditioner off, man. That's what's doing it. God. Was Anitra Holman? She followed Reggie Moore. And then after her was Ashante Hamilton. Now, let's kind of roll back to, again, I think this office has been in existence since what, 2015, 2016. Nobody really knew. We knew about it because when they did 411 Life, there were people that we knew personally, Keon, Raymond, those other folks I know that worked with them. In 2019, late 2019, as the election cycle was rolling, all of a sudden, because of the violence in the city, the Office of Violence Prevention then becomes primarily, it started off as a Republican talking point. As a matter of fact, my colleague, Will Martin, had come up to me and asked, hey, what's going on with the Office of Violence Prevention? Because we were talking about all the violence in the city, and violence in the city was an election issue. And so then we wrote, so now all of a sudden, this office, which people, if you knew about, if you did, community work, you knew about the office. Obviously, you knew about Reggie Moore, the people there. You might have knew people who worked into that. But they had a very limited scope in terms of what they were going to do and what they could do. And so there was this expectation all of a sudden, because it didn't start at the beginning, all of a sudden there's an expectation that they're going to stop violence in the city. How could they? Violence in and of itself in society is complicated and layered, and it's not just that simple. We tell people, put the guns down. You put the guns down until you get upset. And then when you get upset, then we pick up the guns. That's just how it works, right? And I'm going to use whatever I can to win a situation. So we get through the election. That was probably one of the more contentious elections I can remember in terms of running for mayor. I think Tom Barrett and Lena, right? And so we got down to COVID hit. So we got all kind of madness going on. And so now the Office of Violence Prevention has this high profile it never had before. I remember going to the meeting at Zilber where the director then, I don't know, is it Anitra? I think it was Anitra Holman. She had called this meeting, which turned out to be a disaster, right? Because when we have these public meetings and people get to show up, people have their own agendas, people want the speaking time, and so it turned into everything. And so you could see the frustration that Reggie Moore was having because he was trying to explain to people what the office actually did and how it might align with some of the aspirations we had to decrease violence. But we realized that the violence issue is far more complicated than any one little office with a staff of 6 or 7 people, 8 people, 15 people in a city this size would even be able to address. That's how we go. And so then we get, so then they moved it because the Office of Violence Prevention, they moved that 411 Life grant out to, Reggie took that out to the medical college. I think I'm getting this right. That's where they're operating now. And because the Office of Violence Prevention was under the health department, it moved under the mayor. Now it really becomes political because now it's the mayor, right? And so then Ashante Hamilton, he assumed the position. Somebody's texting me, probably correcting me. Oh no, they want blood. So Ashante comes in. I don't know how many years Ashante did it, and then he found a different job. They had the woman who was the interim director. She was one of, I think, the 3 finalists. So they had the process, and I remember watching some of the town hall meetings they had. Now, it seemed to me that there was an undercurrent that was happening, not so much for the 2 other candidates, but for the young lady who was the interim director, there was some undercurrent. There must have been some issues that people had, and so letters were going back and forth. So we do the process. I don't know if folks were just underwhelming in terms of how they did in the process. Again, I watched one of the town halls. I mean, I don't know what the expectation is for folks in that position. Is it, and I knew that was some of the conflict that people were having, do we apply a theoretical approach to this where we're looking at being more clinical, or do we, the whole hands in the neighborhood, the credible messengers, all these different things, and then what should it look like? The violence interrupters, right? That you can get in, and someone has posted there's going to be a beef, that you get there and you try to de-escalate what that situation was. Now that when they had the personnel to do that, that was somewhat doable. But again, it's like people saying, well, if you have more police, you have less violence. That's not true. It's not. That's not what drives it. It's not the number of police. Police are in a reactive mode, right? They can't do anything first of all, if they're not there. And in most instances, police are not there. Me and Jermaine get in a beef. Cops ain't there. So bam, bam, bam. I'm dead. Or I'm shot. Right. So I mean, it is a more nuanced, more complicated situation. When we talk about violence, it gets down to America. America is a violent country. We glorify violence in this country. If you look at movies that really, really do real well, there has to be X amount of carnage. I give you a great example. Look at the body count in John Wick. Yeah. All those John Wick. So I mean, we've always kind of glorified violence, and then we expect people who might not have filters, who might be on something else, all of a sudden just to comport themselves and then just don't kill. So when I watched last night, in one way, now people know, I always say there are no victims, just volunteers, right? And Adam Purcell said something I thought was real interesting. I'm paraphrasing, where he said that, and I think other people mentioned it too, people are really tripping on the process. That's part of it, right? Because they say had this process. You have to be consistent, right? And I agree with Michelle then. Just for public relations, you say, you know what? We might need to open this up. These three candidates are probably not a good fit for what it is that we want to do. So let's open it up. Again, the mayor's not obligated even to do a process, right? The mayor makes that appointment. That's on him. And then he deals with the political ramifications of the choice that he makes. That's how it works. The buck stops with the mayor. So whether people agree with him having that power, he does have that power. And so we really don't know. And again, I'm just watching. I sat through most of it because of some of the technical difficulties. I don't think people were able to. They were doing more posting on can't hear, it's breaking up, it's freezing. That was more what was in the chat box as opposed to a specific question. Someone finally did ask in the chat, what vision does Adam Purcell have for the office? The question was asked, why didn't you originally apply for the program, for the position? He said he had everything he had going on. So I'm going on this, and I'm just going on this narrative, don't know. He was asked by the mayor. I don't know who recommended him to the mayor. He was asked by the mayor. So there were questions there, questions about doing the work in community. Now here's real talk. There are people who get out and do the work every day, but at some point you need resources to do the work. I mean, it ain't, it's you just need it. If you have brick and mortar, you need to make sure the lights are on and all those things. And then people are compensated for the work that they do. That's all a part of it. So there was a lot there that wasn't spoken. Those, again, people who are doing the work understand the level of work, what goes into this work, and how daunting it is. now we're kind of where we are. I don't see the mayor pulling back in terms of, I think the job is his job, and now it's him. Now, I would say to him, as I say to everyone, there are no victims, just volunteers. And so if I accept this position, then I have to accept the good and the bad that goes along with the position. It's just how it is. If if you're going to take a stand on a certain position, understand that if you have this position where you feel one way, or you think one way, or you see it one way, there is someone out there who sees it differently than you, right? And so then that's where we begin to have conflict there. Now, I don't know. I kept running in my mind, would it be other people that I knew that I thought might be suitable for that position? Is that a part of it? But it always amazes me, though, that when it comes around to situations that deal with descendants of enslaved Africans, people just can't get the job. And someone said, well, somebody's going, somebody's going to have something to say. And then someone really went in and corrected them. People always got something to say. Okay. If I cured cancer, trust me, there's a Negro out there who will say, what took you so long? I mean, so how do we separate the chatter, from then the efficacy of that office and the work that they're mandated to do? That then becomes, going forward, what should be evaluated. And once again, an office with maybe 10, 15 people has such a high profile. And so now people are going to be watching. People who normally wouldn't be paying attention now will be paying attention because questions have been raised. So again, I watched it. I watched it more from a journalistic person, not someone who would have a position one way or the other, trying to figure out, what does that mean? What does it mean for the city going forward? Now I guess the one question I have is, and I don't know if that was addressed last night, what is the relationship between that office and MPD? What does it look like? And then how does it have, because there's the fear, and this is the fear all along, that close collaboration with the police department meant that there could be certain intel that's given. Let's say that someone comes and they might have some things going on and they're coming to get help. But that this person is gang affiliated, or this person doing da 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 da. Do I pass that information on to the police department? So I guess that was, if I had a question, I was trying to figure out what would be the role of the police department as it relates to the office of, what is it now, community wellness, and what does that look like? So that was just, again, I did watch it. Thank you, Michelle, for giving me the heads up on it and having the opportunity to go in. I try not to, even though I do from time to time, don't speak on things that at least I have some type of level of familiarity with, or taking a look at it. So that's what it is. But there's a greater question in terms of, because as you all know, the president of the police union wants the National Guard to come and patrol the streets in Milwaukee. I told you all about something in the Constitution known as posse comitatus. And what posse comitatus is, in effect, is saying that you cannot use the military for police actions unless you're in an extreme situation. Certainly when martial law has been declared, then you can bring in federal troops to quell if there's violence, put down the violence, and to deal with that. Those of us who are old enough to remember in 1967, excuse me, In July, we had the riots here in the city. The whole country seemed to be on fire in 67, starting 66. Watts was what, 65? So we had where cities were on fire, urban areas. They brought in the National Guard. And those of us who remember, depending where you live, my grandmother lived on First and Wright. Then Third Street was kind of the epicenter. What a lot of the disturbances. We could hear gunshots. We then saw the National Guard come in with their weapons. But that was in order to what was going on, what was happening on the street. Real quickly, what Trump was able to do in D.C. D.C. is unique because D.C. is controlled by Congress, controlled by the federal government. We have sovereignty, state sovereignty that says that you just cannot send the National Guard. Right? It has to be requested the federal government, government where send in the National Guard. I see down they're talking about sending the National Guard into which really just quickly, especially for the 20 years after Katrina, going up in the National Guard. So it's going to first help folks when you first protect property, all the violence in the city, the violence. The violence was it should have been on those bridges where people tried to get into these white parishes and these white folks are shooting. It wasn't do anything. That's what you should have. So, with that said, phone lines open 414 444 5250 414 444 5250. We're going to take a break.
You're inside Community Voice on WNOV, 88 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, we're out to bed. You got to turn my mic on. There we go. All right. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. You're talking about the Posse Comitatus Act?
Yes.
And this one I remember when I was in history class is that when the Civil War ended, they had the Ku Klux Klan, and after they were terrorizing blacks, and that's when they sent in the military, and the military did save a lot of the black people's lives down there because they were killing them and murdering the white Klansmen. Then they had some other things dealing with the Klan too.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I remember, if you remember history, you remember George Wallace standing in the school. What was that? They know segregation day, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever.
Mm-hmm.
And the military was called in then. And the military was there was a situation where there was violence, and so the president called in I guess those people, the military people, and then also was what was that when they had the Selma to Montgomery March, the military was called there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was what was that other one? I think it was James Meredith or something like that. The military when he was trying to get in school.
University of Mississippi. Yep.
Yeah, the military is called there, but it wasn't the president. It wasn't the governor of Mississippi. He never would have called them. Right. It was the president who sent in people. Mm-hmm. So I understand, but there was the white people in the South who did not want that.
I think when they sent them in to enforce the law because it also happened in Little Rock, right? Where Eisenhower then sent in federal troops to allow young people because their resistance to integration was in violation of a constitutional ruling, Brown v. Board of Education.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
And the same thing with James. What was that? When George Wallace, right here.
George Wallace, yes. That was University of Alabama. I'm trying to think who was the governor. I know Forbes was governor of Arkansas in the 50s, and then whoever, I think Patterson could have been governor of Mississippi. He also tried to block James Meredith from attending. And then it also happened at the University of Georgia. I don't know if people used to watch PBS and the News Hour.
Charlene
Hunter Galt. Yep. She was the first student to integrate the University of Georgia. So,
I mean, there's a reason why I can understand people don't want the military in, but sometimes the military has to go in because in those situations after the Civil War, I mean, they were killing black people left and right. The military is the only reason.
Yeah, but actually, this was the Posse Comitatus Act, 1878 law, passed after the end of Reconstruction. The act aimed to limit the federal government ability to use military for domestic law enforcement. In other words, you not be able to send the military in to deal with the Klan, who had formed, and so now they're terrorizing black folks in the South. And because of this, and this would have had to be Democrats then, that they then passed that law, and that was what it was. But then it prevents us. Now you have white militias who call themselves, they do it under Posse Comitatus because it allows local law enforcement to deputize people to deal with law enforcement.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's problematic. I think what Trump is using, and I think you're seeing it with the tariffs too, where he says that there's a national emergency, and because he can declare a national emergency, then he's then able to do certain things like the tariffs, because actually the tariffs should come from Congress, right? Smoot-Hawley was one of the worst decisions ever in terms of law, because They did it during the Depression, and it made it even worse. The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act, passed in 1930, raised tariffs on over 20,000 imported goods to protect U.S. farmers and industries, but caused international trade to collapse after other countries imposed retaliatory tariffs. The resulting trade war is seen as a significant factor that worsened the Great Depression, leading to reduced global trade, bank failures, and widespread economic hardship. We do, and even then in the 30s, it was a global economy, but it really is a global economy now. And where you have a guy, and I understand that Donald Trump allegedly graduated from the University of Pennsylvania, Wharton School of Business, but he must have missed a class on Smoot-Hawley. There were people who will tell you that it is only in the most extreme situations should you do tariffs, right? Because at some
point... Let me ask
point...
you another question, too. Let me ask you another question. I know that in Wisconsin, they were known for the Midwest. They called it the Rust Bowl. I was looking at some things, and that's what they were calling it, the Rust Bowl, and how it fell down and everything else like that. And a lot of black people left the South and went to the Rust Bowl areas. And then all of a sudden, they paid well. And then all of them left. And then all of a sudden, he's talking about bringing back these companies. I mean, I guess you guys had car manufacturing up here. You guys had A.L. Smith. I guess they made the A-frames or something for cars.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's the only time that was, it's not going to be like after World War II, because the U.S. was only the last person standing after World War II. And also, somebody was telling me they lived in... what was it, Argentina?
Mm-hmm.
And he was just telling me that when the car left Argentina, and when the car left this country, he was down there, it'd be $20,000. It could be $10,000. By the time he got to Argentina, the tariffs had been raised by 50%. That was an Argentine government doing that. And that's what and then somebody was saying, well, he's just trying to make it fair. Because I guess he's just doing, if you're going to do 10% on us.
Why would you do tariffs, where you're going after Vietnam? Vietnam, we're always going to have a trade deficit because most Vietnamese cannot afford American goods. Same thing in China. The average Chinese could not afford, if they allowed American cars, they couldn't afford an American car. The economics.
I think Buick's a big thing in China right there.
But what I'm saying is that
the same thing about the Chinese.
Trade, it couldn't be reciprocal because the very nature of the cost of American built products compared to other things, and so it was. What he's doing is capricious and arbitrary, where he goes up, I'm just going to do a 50% tariff on India. Okay, at some point, because what happens is they collect the duties. I don't know if you've ever ordered anything from overseas. There's a duty on it, or there could be a tariff on it, depending on where it comes from. But this idea that he's saying how we got ripped off, no, actually, Americans were taking advantage of people because we took advantage of cheap labor, right, to produce goods that then are sold in America at a cheaper price. Yeah, you could go in and say, we could bring back manufacturing, but when you figure out what it costs to build a car in Korea, as opposed to what it costs to build a car in America, it's cheaper to build a car in Korea. It's cheaper to build a car in Mexico. The cost of American workers are probably the highest in the world because of all the things that go along. And certainly if you have now, you do have companies like BMW, I think is in South Carolina, Nissan is in Tennessee. Those are right to work states. And let me say this about those folks. What they did was they did prevailing wage in order to push back on people trying to form unions. So if GM, based on United Auto Workers, have negotiated in terms of benefits, pretty much you're going to see the same thing at Toyota, right? And then, of course,
Toyota has a plant in Texas too.
Oh yeah, they built in the South. You're not going to, and I think you can come to Wisconsin and build now because Wisconsin is not I think they said only about 15% of the workforce is unionized, and a lot of those unions are in government, right? So you don't see a lot of when they tried to unionize Walmart. Walmart put up, and that's one of the reasons why I don't shop at Walmart. Walmart put up incredible resistance to unions because unions are going to go in and they're going to negotiate what they think is the best for their membership. And that means that that can impact on the bottom line of a country, on a company, even though a company like Walmart certainly can absorb. And part of it is because of what they pay their employees, right? They're not offering benefits. It's not like working for Nordstrom's. So it's all those things. But I think the great danger, and you're seeing this even with RFK, the great danger is that people can be capricious and arbitrary. They're not doing either economic theory. What does this mean? What does it look like? It's like the president trying to put pressure on Jerome Powell to raise the interest rates. To lower the interest rates. But you can lower the interest rates, make more money available. You're going to have more inflation. Trump ran on ending inflation. There's a lot of reasons why we saw the inflation that we did. But part of inflation means that more people have more money, right? And so then the value of money drops because there's just more money, more problems. It's understanding that, and people are very emotional. But at some point, you're going to feel the impact of those tariffs because companies are going to begin to pass those costs on to consumers. And when that happens,
let me ask you a question: Are these companies that left Wisconsin? I was told some of them because you guys were heavy. You guys had a strong unions up here. Are they ever going to come back?
Probably not.
Are they ever going to come? They're not going to come back because it's also labor up.
We've been doing this for at least 40 years. So, there's a new world order. I was reading this book, and I don't know if it was Freakonomics or the World is Flat, where the guy pointed out, he said probably around the year 2000, the world really became this global market. And he gave the example. He said there's 1.1 billion, 1.2 billion Indians.
Right.
Now, I'm going to say this, and I want you to think about what I just said, because now we start talking about scale. Only 10% of the Indian population has advanced education. Only 10% of the Indian population. 1.1 billion people. That means that there is, 100 million people with degrees? That's far more than we have in America when you look at actual, like, big number, whole number. That's so there are things that operate, and I know that there are people out there, and I know that there are these folks talking about the new world order, but we've always had, look, the reason why we are here in America, what we call America today, was the expansion of global trade, right? Going from Europe to now what they call the new world. And so then that impacted. So now Africa's brought into it because Africa's pulled into it because of the cheap labor enslavement that then was able to fuel the American economy. And I know that there are people out there, they tried to do the 1776 project, 1619 project. Hannah Nicole Jones, who did this, talks about America's wealth primarily at the beginning was based on slavery because America was an agrarian society. One of the reasons why you had people in the North here in Wisconsin who were anti-slavery, they had a real problem with slavery. One, because the way they do farming and what they were growing didn't require slaves. Okay?
What did you guys grow up here? Wheat?
No, it could be wheat, whatever it was, but it didn't require. If you looked at cotton, and again, anybody who's ever been at the chop cotton to pick chop cotton is a very fragile crop. And so one of the things that can happen with cotton, and this is why you get out chop cotton, they call it chopping cotton. Basically, you're clearing the weeds so the weeds don't choke the cotton plant. And then prior to the combine, people had to literally hand pick the cotton. You farm very differently, and you're not looking at the. So there was a lot that went into it, but cash rules
kind
everything
of like
around
the
me.
sugar cane, and somebody was telling me that's
Sugar
why
cane,
sugar
in
cane. That's why
Louisiana,
most of the black people came to enslaved people went to Brazil,
Brazil,
and they
but
had a large
Louisiana.
portion. Yeah, they went to Louisiana because sugar, and that's why there's so many black people in Cuba and Barbados and all these other places, because that's how they could grow was sugar cane grew very well there.
Mm-hmm. And that's what makes Meach was saying this the other day. We talked about, but that's what makes descendants of enslaved Africans in the Western Hemisphere very, how we got here, what we got here for. We visited Panama, and they had African descendants of African slaves that was part of the Panamanian population, but they also had West Indians who came to build both canals. They tried to build a canal in the 1800s. There was some engineering issues they had, and then this final canal. So they said, go get the Jamaicans. They're used to this kind of work. And so that's how you see such an African influence there in Panama. And then other countries, like I would not have thought of Ecuador having Africans, but they do. Colombia, obviously, I had a girlfriend who studied there back in the late 70s. And I remember her writing me a letter saying, Keith, the people here look like you and I. Well, that was because of enslavement, right? And Europeans introducing enslavement into the Western Union. So anyway, appreciate it, man. Let me get this next caller. Caller, welcome to the program. All right, man. Good morning.
Good morning. That was a quick transition.
Yes, sir.
This is Rick calling you long distance from Germany, man.
What up, Rick?
Look, you know who Arthur C. Clarke is, right?
No, I do not.
The science fiction writer, the man who wrote 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
He opposed Sir Isaac Newton's theory that the world would end in 2060, and he even wrote the third installment of his Odyssey books as with the year 2061 prominent in the title, because he wanted to show that Sir Isaac Newton was wrong about the end of the world. But I tend to agree with Isaac Newton. It's all coming to an end, and the money game in America is swiftly coming to an end. I'm done, brother man.
Speaking of which, so last night I went and got a pizza, and I wanted to get some sodas. So I stopped at the gas station there. I'm trying to remember, right there on 68th and North last night. And I was in a line.
Is that a Clark?
I don't know what it's. I don't know.
It's at Wauwatosa.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. I don't know. All I know is I was trying to figure out, why is the line so long? People ain't paying for gas. Powerball.
Amanda, while you're playing, it's unfortunate, but I'm gonna take me a trip way up north somewhere and stop off at a gas station and get my ticket, because that's where the tickets normally end up at.
They estimate that people who are regular players of the lottery spend about $240 a month. A year playing lottery. All right, and I say it all the time. I am not opposed to gambling.
I'm jumping in, Jack.
I'm not opposed to gambling.
1 point something.
But I wonder how many people that are listening. I wonder.
They was in line.
Are you bold enough to say? Because there's first of all, there's nothing morally wrong with gambling. I'll say that again. There's nothing morally wrong with gambling. One more time. There's nothing morally wrong with gambling. That's cheap. There's nothing in the Bible that prohibits people from gambling. As a matter of fact, those people in you can tell me how they decided to replace Jews. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. I got people tell me how Judas was replaced. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, do I even qualify to answer that or no?
I don't know. Depends on your
I
answer.
mean, no, because if you want somebody that's that's less into it, then I get out the way and let
No,
them
actually,
answer.
I wanted a biblical scholar, so you might need to fall back and let the biblical scholars get through.
Oh, okay. Because no sooner than you said it, I was at the line, so I didn't have time to fool around. This is stuff that's retained knowledge.
Okay, all right.
But it would be that they cast lots for that position.
That's
Now,
absolutely
we got to realize something, that the lot that was cast is not going to be the lot gambling, because gambling is a monetary wealth gaining process, a thought process to gain money. So pulling straws would be casting lots. Casting straws would be pulling lots. Playing 3-card Monty without the monetary gain side of it would be a form of pulling casting lots. Throwing some rocks against a brick wall or something, and having something set up to where if 2 land on red and 1 land on white, it's not considered a win. We have to, so casting lots, you could put it in the form of gambling, but I already looked that over years ago, and I think that if you're not doing it for monetary gain, then it's not actual gambling.
Well, I can tell you that going to Catholic schools, alcohol and bingo really big, but at the Mount, there are 2 things was used to figure out how you got a dorm room. One, it was your class, right? So freshmen, they don't have anything because they're freshmen, they take whatever left. But as you move up, on from sophomore, junior, senior year, but then after that is they use lot, when there was ties, where there was a conflict, or our exam schedule was done by lot, right? So
I mean, here's for the people that don't quite understand it, you can give them a something that they understand, sort of like heads or tails, a flip, or get like me, that would be a casting lot. So people understand what we're doing here, because some people might not understand what we're talking about.
Oh no, and let me say this: casting lots is an ancient practice of making random selections, often to determine God's will or an unbiased.
Hold on, man. I thought this was retained knowledge. Sound like you don't went to Google, right?
Yeah, I always go and get what.
Sound like you reading off Google, man. You cheating, man.
I'm not cheating.
Good, you cheating, good.
My mama always said this: look it up.
I know, but but I thought this was retained knowledge you was shooting at us,
it was
man.
retained knowledge.
I'm just
trying to augment it with a more definitive explanation of what casting lots.
No, because when you go into it like that, then you going beyond, and you going so deep now that the really all you need is the surface. Because when you go that deep, you're gonna lose people, and maybe even lose their interest.
Did I lose? Did I lose you?
Hey man, it's like
did I lose you
with 500 pages?
Did I lose you?
No, you didn't lose me, but I don't want you to lose the listeners.
Don't you think that most of the listening audience is as
smart
as you are?
Hear you preach. I think you one of the most big word preachers. And them people
I drop a little nugget every now and then.
When can I come hear you preach, man? I've been trying to come hear you preach, man. You don't want me to hear you preach for some reason.
I tell you what, I preach it Sunday. Come hear me Sunday.
I'm gonna bring you a love offering, man.
Oh man.
Yeah. So you could take the old lady out for a steak after dinner.
Hold on to the love offering to after you hear me. You might not want to Give me a
It
love
wouldn't make
offering.
no difference. I done seen a lot of preachers go to that podium and
I
die,
had to
man.
do. There's a young
You know,
lady I know.
But then
that-
I done seen a lot of them go to town and bow, so I don't know if you
But
gonna
you know
bow
what?
or what.
But you know what, man? I had there's a young lady I grew up with. I love her to death. She loved me. So I did her mom's funeral. She waited to after I did the funeral
And gave you the
to
business.
write the check. She waited.
She gave you the business, huh?
I saw one dude. They took up the love offering before he preached. He should have gave it back. I mean,
I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. I believe
so
it.
you do
Listen,
the
man. So
old
when
love
you
offering.
preaching
You
that
know
stuff,
what? I've been doing this since I was 18 years old. I can tell you, man, that when I first started, people were just so happy to see an 18-year-old young man who has been called to ministry. And boy, I got hooked up in those love offers, man. It wasn't from the preaching. It was just the aspiration. It was the support.
right,
But
right.
but I've been
But don't you hate to go to a church and preach and then they don't give you nothing but $36?
Hey man, I'm not preaching for the
Man,
money.
that ain't even. I know that, but that ain't even. Just keep the money to yourself. Don't give a preacher nothing. That ain't even enough to get his suit clean, man.
But I ain't gonna be back there.
Man, done sweat his suit out.
Gas money, man.
You done sweat your palm out.
That's gas.
You done sweat your palm out. You done sweat your suit out. You done. If you're really good, you done crawled on the floor, man.
Meats.
You telling me? Yeah.
Meats. So you know how they used to do back in the day? They'll call it a love offering. Here's a token of our love.
Right.
Like you don't love me with $36.
No, they go because we can't pay you.
Yeah, we can't pay you.
Yes, you can.
I don't want to call on that and
Yes,
no
you
blame, but I know some preachers like that, man, and they got a lot of money.
Yeah.
They call you and you get through preaching, man. Them people give you $35, man.
What have you ever thought that some of these
And you done bought your church with you, so you done put a couple hundred over in there or more.
Well, maybe it was because it was a $35 message.
Hey, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So I shouldn't be offended.
No.
I shouldn't be offended at all.
You call a pro, man. Somebody, you gonna set the audience on fire, man. I'm talking about you gonna bow, man.
But you know what's crazy? Some of my best messages have been done before very small groups of people.
Yeah.
I believe it.
The late Pastor William Yancey Sr. They're down there at leadership.
Okay.
He used to say, "You preach for 5, like you preach for 5,000."
Yeah.
And
That's right.
And that and sometimes,
that's a good proverb.
especially when you get with a big crowd, because now, if you're not used to being in front of that crowd, it can be intimidating, and now you trying to impress, and you gonna do something we call in preaching, you gonna die.
Like
that's right.
You gonna die. You gonna die a horrible death.
Yeah.
So, hey man, I tell the story.
I done did that before though.
Man, at American Baptist College, every freshman preacher had to preach Vesper on Tuesday.
Hey man, why you ain't telling me where you gonna preach at this
I
Sunday?
just told you Sunday, 18th and Hampton. We start at 10. Mount Zion.
Hey, that's over there with God. Okay, I thought Garner was over there.
No. No, do you talking about Bishop Garner?
Yeah.
No, he ain't at Zion. He's at
Where's Zion Hill?
He had a whole nother church that's
building, but okay, it's right over there.
18th
So that's 18th and Hampton
at 10 o'clock.
Okay, what time you get up, Doc?
10 o'clock.
You getting up at 10?
Nah, I'm telling you to be there at 10 o'clock.
You getting up to preach at 10?
Nah, I ain't getting up to preach at 10, but you be there at 10.
Right, so you can get all of the service.
Man, I'm coming for the word. I ain't coming for all that other hoorah.
Okay, I hear you. Well,
the praise dance, because y'all got praise dancers over there in leotard.
No, we don't.
There he go.
Not yet.
There he go. There he go.
We ain't brought the holy pole in yet.
That's what y'all like to do, man.
Oh man, no, man, y'all need to get off those little praise dancers, man. They 8, 9, 10 years old. Y'all on the praise dancers.
No, I ain't talking about them kind. I'm talking about them big grown ones, brother. I'm talking about them grown ones, brother.
What's wrong with the praise dancers?
Hey man, if don't nothing happen, man, I'm gonna come over there and hear you preach. So you better put your message together, man. Because I might come back to the radio and tell it all, man.
Oh, okay.
That means you gotta bow, brother.
Oh man,
You gotta make it to town, man.
no pressure, no pressure. When,
Okay, I believe you pretty good, man.
when Michelle,
you intellectual. You an intellectual
when
fellow.
Michelle
So
and Keon came over, Keon, I never forget, he's sitting right there off to my left.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there at arm's phone. Michelle was taking vigorous notes. Oh, Michelle, she look up, I say something, she down right. I'm going, oh, this
are you kidding me, man?
Yes.
That's like you know what I found out. That can be intimidating.
Wow.
You know, it's like a person stand up to you when you delivering your speech, and he looking right in your face, right next to you, just looking right in your face. He wants you to fail.
No.
They taking notes. It
Yep.
might set some of real interest.
And you have to be confident in what you're doing. So even if they're looking you dead in your eye, though, you look them back dead in their eye and stand 10 toes.
No. I'm talking about a preacher that's in the pulpit with you, that's next to you, standing right up, looking right at your face.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something, man. I'm just saying, because I'm a hater, and I'm just not gonna stand up because that's your prompt. You better say something to me to get me up. Now that is
hold on now. Hold on.
Wait,
that
hold on.
That
I'm gonna tell you
protocol.
No, that is not. I'm just telling you because
you may need some help. You may need some help making it to town.
Okay,
so you're supposed to stand.
You know what I used to hear at the Church of God in Christ when you need help? Help me, Holy Ghost.
Yeah. Help me, Holy Ghost.
Holy Ghost.
Now the Church of
Now,
God
when you
in Christ
get to the point where you need help, that's where your help should come. Look to the hills,
which cometh my help.
Church of God in Christ is a whole different beast, man.
Oh no, I learned. So I love the Church of God in Christ. I just think,
well, because you have the Church of God in Christ. I can already tell with you have that Church of Christ etiquette. I can already tell.
I like to describe myself as a Pentabaptist.
Okay. You done stirred all that around. That's a heavy mix.
So no, because and again, let me compliment my mom. My mom allowed me, and
man, let me get off this phone, man.
I appreciate you, man. My mom allowed me to be exposed to different thoughts. Okay. And so this is why, and I know that there are a lot of people believe that we're right. Like if I'm a Baptist, we're right. In some ways we're wrong. If I'm a Catholic, I'm right. And so what I was able to do was to look for the theos. Where is God in all of this? Because there's God there. And to be able to go in, like I know that many of us who I will use Latin as much as I'll use Greek. And probably that Latin usage probably has more to do with the exposure to Catholicism, which does Latin, where we know that the first translations, Paul was able to write Greek. And so, because Paul was educated. And so being able to get that, but I just think that there are so many paths to God. And I think we do ourselves a disservice when we want to condescend to other people or other belief systems that might be different than us. Now, again, if Church of God in Christ and the Baptist Church, now look, as my understanding, that Bishop Jones and Bishop Mason were Baptist preachers. And so, that's why I was kid, like when Jermaine wanted me to come in here and cast out some demons. I explained to him that I was a Baptist and I couldn't help him because we don't do a whole lot of casting out of demons, right? But I'm just saying in terms of, you will find that there should be a universal. There should be a universal for certainly those of us who call ourselves Christians. Now, we get into style, we get into our dogmas, but at some point there has to be something. So our universal is Christ, following Christ. That's our universal. But at the same time, I will go and I said, what does Islam say about peace? what does Islam say about wisdom? Because now again, I'm a reader, so there's value that you get for a lot of us, and I think that kind of gets to the conversation that Michelle was having around vaccines. What we do is we embrace our ignorance and we enshroud ourselves with ignorance. Like he was sitting there going, like you reading that from Google? Yeah, look it up.
Yeah.
You might be surprised because there were some things that I thought were this is what it was, only upon further review to find out that in fact that's the whole thing about being a lifelong learner, that you can always learn something new. And guess what? Sometimes some of the stuff that we were taught probably made sense then and appeared to be right then. But upon further review and more education, we begin to realize, oh, that was it. It's like God hasn't changed. God is immutable. God doesn't change. Our understanding of God changes, right? People, God has given me a new revelation. Ain't that a song? God has given me a new revelation. Well, okay. Well, it was probably there all the time. I just got it. So, you can go in and you hear, and I know I hear many of my colleagues will say that, let's say I give you one. I always try to be as accurate as possible. Sometimes I fail. When you hear, blessed is he that mourns, part of the Beatitudes, what was Jesus talking about?
I think he was talking about those people that mourn their loved ones.
That's what you would think.
Yeah.
But if you look at the context of what everything was talking about, it wasn't. And you know where I discovered the truth in this? Children's Bible.
Really?
I was preparing a children's church lesson.
Wow.
We can ready to do the Beatitudes. And it came up. So I thought, oh man, that means when your mama died. What Jesus says is that part of having the Holy Spirit means that there's certain behavior, because now we have the Holy Spirit, that will convict us.
Right.
Convict us. Have you ever mourned your sinful or your bad behavior to the point that you beating yourself up?
Yeah.
Jesus said that you will find comfort. That's what it means. Blessed is he that mourns. Now, again, I got that out of a children's Bible. We always use that at Big Mama's homegoing. So I'm just saying, in terms of our understanding things, when you go in and you look at the root of things and you go like, oh, because look, we are the beneficiaries and we are the victims of our catechism. Our catechism is those things we learned in YPWW, those things we learned in BTU, those things we learned in CYO, Catholic U. So we go through that. That is part of the indoctrination into our faith tradition. But when we spend time and you go in and you're trying to say, what is the real meaning of this? It might take you to a space that you might, first of all, not be comfortable with, because it's pushing up against everything that you know. Now, my mama's been right on most things, but my mama's been wrong on some things too. That doesn't make them bad people. What it makes is that their understanding at the time, my understanding is the time, when Paul says that when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I reasoned as a child, we did. And so immaturity is not just one of these things we look at physically where we are, but even intellectually where we are, we kind of reason things. And I know one time a caller got real frustrated with me, asked me, what kind of preacher are you? And I go, one that reads, and if it pushes up against me and I discover that maybe it was unintentional error, but once I recognize it as error, now I have a responsibility to either stop doing it or correct the error. That's the other piece of it. We know that I made a mistake. That's why we do cleanup on aisle 6. We're going to make mistakes as human beings. We conflate. The older we get, the more we conflate things. Like we'll put events together that when in real time they were not together, but we conflate it. And so then we'll bring certain things in. So a lot of times, remember when Giannis was saying, and I know a lot of people say, oh, you should Giannis was saying that one of the things that made him successful during that championship run was he said, you gotta stay in the moment.
Mhm.
And that was powerful for me because we're talking about like right now. Now, look, there's going to be a moment that comes after this moment. That's just how it works. But sometimes stay in the moment. Then other times we got to move beyond the moment. But this is what's required right now. This is what's appropriately applied right now. Stay in the moment. We bringing in stuff that ain't got nothing to do with anything. I used to be parliamentarian for student government. Now, this is the thing about me. If you tell me I got to do something, then I'm going to go, hear me, Meech. I'm going to go look up and see, now, what is it I'm supposed to be doing? Isn't it amazing for those of you who have these types of church meetings where people will refer to the bylaws of the church? So I ask a question. If you're going to refer to the bylaws of the church, that's why I think if you get to a certain size meeting, you need a parliamentarian. Wouldn't it be great to have the bylaws there at the meeting?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because I'm only going to go on what I can remember. And, you know, I got a lot of stuff going on. Now, unless you have just one of these they call it photographic memories where, you know, you can, I know a dude, man, he can read it. He got it. He can give it right back to you. That is not my gift. So I need the book there just to say, so now, instead of saying what we think it is, or people making declarative sentences in terms of this is what the bylaws say, hey, here's real, this is, Congress has a parliamentarian, because there's people who think they know what the rules are, but then that's not the rules.
Right.
So it'd be helpful if you're at a meeting and your organization has bylaws, and you're having a business meeting, have the bylaws at the business meeting so that we can refer to it. But we don't want to do that because it might not be what I said it was, or it might require that I do something that I don't want to do in order to stay in order. I never understood groups who said, why are we doing Robert's Rules of Order? You do Robert's Rules of Order, because of fairness. That's why you do it. Not that you can come in and ramrod and control, and because, you know, we got politics going on now. We got human dynamics going on now. And look, people are always, we form groups to get power. Don't underestimate power. People want to know why are all these people kowtowing to Trump because of either proximity to power or their whole sense of power. It's about power, man. Politics has always been about power, 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 power in our relationships. You know, that it shouldn't be, but it is. Not we always, because there I go. There are times where trying to get the upper hand in the relationship. Why do I want the upper hand in the relationship? Power. And then we get to the point where relationships are formed to be mutually benefiting. And so we should, instead of being linear in our relationships, you know, where you got to have a top and you have to have a bottom. If you ever want to get my wife going, ask her about, should the man be the head of the household? What you guys think? Byron, think men should be head of the household?
Yes, they should.
All right. Jermaine?
Uh,
Yes or no, Jermaine? Don't even start.
See, because
we ain't going around the block.
It's a thin line.
No, it ain't no thin line either. Should men be head of household? Yes or no?
I think I gotta put a disclaimer on it.
No, you don't. Did Byron put a disclaimer on it?
No.
No.
Yeah, because he did stand 10 toes
Stand
down.
up, man.
Yeah, man, I'm on 1 foot with this one only because if you got a man as a fool,
I don't. You don't need to qualify it yet.
okay.
So let's start there. Should men
Yes.
be head of the household?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. Should men be head of the household?
Oh, Jesus.
Where are those brothers that normally call?
Right. Where they at?
Where they at? Where you at? Who you with? Who you with? Go in the other room.
Yeah.
Close the door.
Sneak away and go in the basement.
we do come from like matriarchal societies though.
Yeah.
Historically.
Yeah.
You talk about we as descendants of enslaved Africans?
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of necessity?
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Should we got called.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Good morning.
Turn your radio down.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Should men be head of the household? Yes or no?
Yes.
Why?
Because they expect us to pay all the bills and take care of the household.
So are you saying they do, or you said if they do?
No, I'm saying they do. But especially if they paying all the bills.
Okay. So you're operating from the golden rule. He would go rules.
Yes.
All right. Appreciate you. Got another caller. All right. That's one. All right, caller. Welcome to the program. Should men be head of the household? Good morning.
Men should most definitely be head of the household.
Why?
And I want to add something to that. I think there's a lot of trouble in a lot of marriages because these dear women are trying to challenge our manhood in some cases, and that makes all the difference right there. So yes, let the man lead like he's supposed to lead. You know.
Oh boy.
Stop causing conflict. Thank you.
Oh boy. Oh man. Keith, you can just open up a rabbit hole. Oh man. Oh man.
Good morning. Should men be head of the household? Yes or no?
Yes.
Why?
That's 3.
Well, there's somebody downstairs breaking in the house who's gonna get up. She get up, he gonna get up.
Okay. So he's a protector?
Yeah, you gotta take care of that.
Okay.
So, they might have changed. It might have changed now a little bit. I don't know it changed a little bit around here, but yeah, what I know, yeah, he's gonna have to get up.
All right. Okay. Appreciate you.
Wow.
So let me just I'm taking notes.
Yeah, man, I got to tell you.
So if he pay all the bills.
Well, yeah. I mean,
if he pay all the bills, and I'm only quoting all the bills.
All of them.
All the bills. And last one of them. If he had to get up and go and offer some protection, okay. All right. Caller, welcome to the program.
Well, what the hell is going on? I said 2 words, and you already know.
No, so I need to know before because I know you try to take us down a rabbit hole. Should men be the head of the household? Yes or no?
I'm gonna tell you this one. You gonna laugh, and everybody's gonna laugh. What about the movie Norbit?
Okay. What was her name?
Refusion was the head of the household, wasn't she?
Refusion.
She had her 3 brothers to back her up, though.
Hello.
She was about what, like 3 times bigger than Norbit?
Yeah.
Okay. But you forgot to mention that part. So if the dude is taking care of the bills, and if she as big as she is, I don't know, that might switch off. So that's a whole different thing there.
All right. So you think the men should be head of the household?
I think so, because especially if you got sons.
You're doing it for the sons.
Yeah, because you don't want the son to be going in the house and thinking like, hey, the woman should be taking care of the house, and you should always be masculine.
Okay, so let me ask this question then. Can I do this? So you both were equally situated economically, educationally. Okay. So if you're both that way, should the man be the head of the household?
On certain things, I think at that point should be 50-50.
Yes or no? Should he be? No, they don't. Then he ain't the head.
Oh, well, then I think he need to be the head, because most decisions, the woman gonna look at the man like, hey, well, if somebody kicked in the door,
the man should be at the man. Listen, the man should be sleeping at the other to the closest to the side of the door, and that's the man. That's the head of the household, not the woman. Because if something dangerous happens, the man is sleeping right there to kick in to help out. If a fire or anything like that, that man should be there.
Last time I checked, you was a black man. Last time I checked. You telling me she ain't going down there? Because there's some sisters get down there quicker than me.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, she coming right behind. What you gonna say? Go down there and see what's going on down there.
And what if you say no? What's gonna happen?
You bet. That means you ain't head of the household, man. Sit back down and put your panties back on, fam.
Yeah.
Okay, but what if you said no? What's gonna happen then?
You said me. I'm not going to say no because first of all, I'm sleeping closer to the door.
Okay, I got all your chivalry, brother. But I'm saying, what if you say no? What if you had that
I'm not going to say no, so you can't say me.
Okay, but if you had that momentary lapse, you don't think she ain't going down there?
Not if she dealing with me because she already know I'm head of the household.
Oh, man, I ain't got nothing but mad respect for you, even though you are a Seahawk fan. I ain't got nothing but love for you. I ain't got nothing but love.
Hey, you ain't heard from me in 2 weeks, but them preseason don't count. Let's see what y'all got this year since y'all got a new buddy on the team, buddy.
Man, y'all getting whooped.
Stop being a hater, man.
Y'all getting whooped this year.
You telling me Seattle wouldn't have took him if they had the money and he was available?
I never said that, but I'm just saying. But, what I'm saying is, I hope he does whatever he's supposed to be doing, and I hope y'all don't get y'all a Ford pickup truck instead of a heavy Chevy.
Hey, Arizona, y'all gonna get whooped just like how my guy B over here whooped me in Madden last night. It was like 63-3.
Man, we don't play y'all no more this year. We played y'all preseason. That don't count. We don't play y'all at all.
I know y'all ain't gonna play us in the playoffs neither. Because y'all ain't going.
You got to make it, right?
Oh, man.
You got to make the playoffs.
Hey, check this out. Like I said last time, who the last one got a Super Bowl?
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
All
right. You listen to Community Voice. I haven't heard a sister yet.
Yeah, man. They kind of caught. Hold on. I got something for the sisters.
I ain't heard a sister yet.
That's what I'm hearing.
414-444-5250. Should the man be the head of the household? All right. We're going to take a break. Call I see you. I'm going to grab you right after the break. We'll be right back.
Community Voice on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good, good.
Should men be head of the household?
Yes,
Why do you say that?
because he's a leader. He's a supporter. He's a protector. Hello?
Yeah, I'm just a little shocked.
It's the truth. I mean, we come from men, you know?
Okay. You want to tell us what you really think? You got all the niceties. What do you really think?
What it is. The truth.
So you want to tell us what you really think?
That's what I think. I really do.
She said it so nicely, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I kind of pulled my pants up in my armpits when you got finished talking.
So I got a question. So is he sitting next to you right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. We just have to make sure that you weren't being pressured.
This is a free will offer.
I'm single, okay? I'm single.
It says a free will.
That was a free will offer.
You get to get.
You're not feeling any pressure.
No, I was raised that way. My father was head of his house.
So see, there you go.
Yeah.
See, no. That's a great point.
Yeah.
You saw
Yeah.
what it should look like.
And it's a structure too.
Yeah, what it
Yeah.
should look like. Yep. Did your mom work?
I lived it and I felt it.
Say that again.
I saw it, I lived it, and I felt it.
Yeah.
Okay. Did your mom work?
My mom did work, but they were not together. He was together.
Okay.
He raised me.
All right. Well, good to know. Good to know. All right. Appreciate you. Let me get the call and welcome to the program.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning.
I think a man should be head of the household as long as he has his priorities in order, and it's more to it than just paying the bills and being a protector. He has to be a good communicator and all of the rest of the stuff that comes with it.
So ain't that stuff like learned? So everything else as far as being a great communicator and things like that, that's learned behavior for that particular relationship, right?
Well, that's true too. But if you don't have structure, he has to know how to foundate and have structure in order to be a leader.
Okay. All right. Appreciate you. Call and welcome to the program.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point.
Good morning.
Hey, Keith, how you doing? This is Angela. Let me turn my radio down.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, so
Where you going?
pardon me? Who?
Right out, try to sneak out of here. Get back
Oh,
up
I
in
don't
here.
care.
bro.
Let him go where he going.
See, I can't stand Keith. I can't stand him.
Right now, so you trying to run out
Like he in church with his finger up, with that one finger up.
Hey, wait.
You better ease on back in there, see?
Keith just did just how the pastors be doing the musicians when they try to sneak out when he preaching.
Yeah. Where you going?
Over the mic. Where you going? Where you going?
No, right. I'm not hurt my feelings. You trying to sneak out on me, and I wasn't even gonna holler at you. But I'm at you, dude.
That boy Keith is boy. That
he was scraping his back. He was so close to the wall trying to get him.
This cat is terrible. Angela, listen to me now. These cats. These cats.
Hey, Byron, got all those scratch marks. You can see them.
That cat Keith was like,
we doing a radio program. Where you going? Where you going, man? What's on your mind, Angela?
Okay, so back to what you were asking about. Do you think the man should be the head of the household?
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
Well, my mother was the head of our household because my father was never in our home. But she told us to be independent women.
Right.
You know, we are our own independent women, and it was 5 of us and 2 boys. But I've been head of my household ever since I could have been in my own home. So you know, I've never had to have a man there to say, well, you need to. If I had a man in my house, which I did, he had to pay some bills. There ain't no need for you to be here talking about going to sleep if you ain't got no money in your pocket helping me with these bills. You got to go, partner.
All right. Appreciate you. Let's go.
But back to you, Ryder. I'll get you in the morning. I didn't get you yet.
I didn't do nothing, man.
He didn't do nothing.
Why you trying to sneak out on me?
I need some water. Eyes are thirsty.
Coming in the front door, going out the back.
Angela, eyes are thirsty. Eyes need some water.
Angela, the phone lines are like blowing up. And you breathing out like, who answer these phones?
Hey, keep looking at me like, where you going?
Y'all have a good day.
Hey, you too, Carl. Welcome to the program.
My stomach hurt. My stomach hurt.
This is the only call you got up to leave on. Welcome to the program.
No, my stomach hurt.
Oh, good morning.
Keith was terrible.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm well. I want to make a couple points.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I can't stand this.
One point was last Thursday, I think it was, when this Republican smooth talking situation, right out handled the hell out of it, and very tactfully.
Thank you, sir.
But on this subject today, who is the head of a household? The person who can handle it should be the head of the household. But back in the day, when they wanted the man to think he was in charge.
Hey, Doc, I'm going to have to roll you back. That's a yes or no.
Yeah.
Either yay or nay.
I have to qualify mine.
Oh, you got to qualify it?
Back in the day, these real women knew how to be the head of the household and make the man think he was. and that's some spirit.
And he ain't lying either. You ain't lying, Doc. You was not lying.
All right, man, I appreciate you.
That's from spirit.
Let me just some spirits calling. Welcome to the program. He qualified it too.
Yeah.
I think I met Miss Ward. I think I did. Yeah. Caller, welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning, man.
Good morning. What's happening?
Hey, you guys are having some fun with this, but I think there's some things that some of the previous callers have kind of laid the foundation as to why this conflict even exists. First of all, you talked about the concept of marriage. That's typically when you're talking about, well, it should be, leadership role. Now, by default, that might be assumed as the male, but sometimes they don't have a collective skills knowledge to lead on every issue. Mm-hmm. There's no leader who makes every decision and is right about every decision. Every good leader should listen to the people that, quote unquote, are going to follow them and play to your strengths. Some things you might be better suited for, but then there are other things that you are not best suited for. Mm-hmm. The other thing is the fact that we have a low marriage percentage and the divorce rates are up. Mm-hmm. Being independent makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because you never know that the other person may decide this thing is over, or you may decide this is over. And if you can't function on your own and lead an army of one, how are you going to make it?
See, brother, I've always respected your intellect. That's good. That's good.
I'm just saying, I'm talking just the reality. Yep. Marriage break up. Many people don't get married. Mm-hmm. People develop families with other people, and you might be the latest Johnny come lately, mm-hmm. but that don't mean you're going to be in charge.
Right.
I'm just talking from reality.
Right. But Brother Ward hit it. He said women have done a very good job of making us think we're in charge.
Well, actually, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Because if your partner decides, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and give you that give you the opportunity to lead, and I'm gonna support you as long as you make the decisions. I feel that these are good decisions. Keep on leading.
Okay.
But if you blow it, you got every right to be called on it.
You say she just sitting there waiting, right?
Absolutely. So if you as the quote unquote man who wants to be in charge, you better make sure your game is tight. Because if it's 8, you can be called on it.
You know what helped me with this though, Bentley? I was a manager and supervisor, right?
Yep.
I was in charge. Okay. So the last thing I wanted to do when I got home was to be in charge. Right?
Exactly.
You know, because it was like I do it. That's what I do. You know. And here's the other thing. And my wife, and I always preface it with, when that came up with my wife, how, you know, she needs stitches. She be laughing so hard, like, that ain't. But here's the other thing, and I think Byron said this, that in our community we really are matriarchal, and I think that's because there are a lot of male absent situations, right? So by default, women are in that situation. I remember they did a study on the impact of AFDC and how it impacted women trying to get married because they were in charge, right? I mean, the check came to them. And so now you go into a situation where now there's 2 people there, but you've always been used to doing your thing, right? And now you have to be able to meld that. You know, I don't know if it was you or the other caller who talked about there's independence, there's dependence, and then there's interdependence. Once we realize in a relationship, I need you to survive, you need me to survive, we're equally, and that's the piece of it. I could be the head of the household, but that liability is equally shared in a marriage between husband and wife, right?
That's correct.
And so, you know, just looking at that, but you know, we come from a lot of societies where it's patriarchal, where you still do have a husband and a wife. You know, you see some of these brothers who come from the continent and think they're gonna hook up with an American black woman.
Yep.
And come to find out, it don't work that way here. You know,
it's part of it is based on economics.
Oh yeah.
Because if what quote unquote gives people the feeling that they're the shot caller is they got more resources, or they determine how the resources are going to be utilized, and that's fine. But again, you have to realize that I like the fact that if I'm carrying the predominant amount of the load on the financial standpoint, then I'm willing to give up leadership, give up control of certain things, like the household decisions. I don't care. I don't care what color the paint is. I don't care what color the carpet you want to get. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not even going. Those are decisions I'll defer to you because that's the decision I don't want to make. And it also helps that while you might quote unquote be the breadwinner, you give the other person who bringing in some sort of income, maybe not to your extent, you give them their independence. There's your money, my money, and our money.
And then the other right, but the other piece of that is, even though you could be the breadwinner, you're not very good with the bread.
Oh, that
other person is better suited to handle the bread than you might be, or I might be. So,
and that's the classic case is in case of females who typically are saddled with single parenthood or predominantly custodial parent. They understand what it costs to run a household.
Oh, right.
As opposed to the cat that's living I'm floating from here and I'm floating from there, and I'm trying to always. I'm not ever kicking in my. I'm never. My name ain't on the lease. The house ain't mine. You bouncing from place to place, but you feeling like I put more money in my pocket. But at the same token, okay, now you got to get out and get your own place. And oh, by the way, you're gonna keep these kids for the summer, and it changes the math. You start to realize how do you manage with limited resources and be able to sacrifice. I want to go spend money on X, but my kids need Y. Right. You got a decision to make.
I think that's where the rappers, that whole genesis of trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, talking about their mama, right? Because that for many of us, that was our lived experience. I didn't have a male presence in the home like a father or a husband. So then this woman has to get out. This is why sometimes dudes, I work with fathers, and when we get around this whole thing about financial support of their children, I said, you talking about you, but you just mentioned something. Those kids got to eat, right?
Absolutely.
They got to have clothes on their back. And so part of that is understanding that level of responsibility is then, are you willing to, because, I used to do this tongue in cheek. I said, anybody in the room, do you know anybody that ever quit their job because their car note was too high? And and no, man, you go get a second job. If your child support is a little high, you ever thought about getting a second job?
Yeah,
I'm just, and again, I'm being neutral on this because I get in trouble. Keep the child support guy. I'm just saying because I had to see the other side of it. I mean, I used to see women, single mothers coming in trying to go through the whole humiliation. We were having this conversation about public assistance, and George had texted me, and I really wanted to get to it. I couldn't get to it. George asked, did public assistance hurt our people? Some ways it did, but in other ways, people lived, right?
It helped.
So I think we need to be a little bit more mindful of that. And I was asking that question tongue in cheek. I think that in a relationship, it should really be circular and not linear. There's some people, and I'm gonna use a word, and this is both for men and women. I'm gonna use the C word, control.
Yeah.
See, we want to be able to control or think that we can control, where we cannot. There are instances we don't control the weather.
Right.
You can do the Hopi snake dance. You can go out there and do this, do that. Anything else, man? Oh, you cut him off. Oh, good move. Oh, now you're working the board.
Hey.
Now you know how to
My
work the
fault,
phone.
my guy. I pushed the button. I didn't run out this time.
Yeah, he hit the button running. but being able to understand, and I'm a controlling person. I mean, if that's why, and man, this is such a crazy admission. In some ways, that's why I wanted to be in charge.
Really?
Yeah, because this need to control. So now I understand. The one thing you can't control
is yourself.
Yourself.
You're right.
Stop trying to control other people.
Yeah.
I ain't that persuasive.
Yeah.
Ask David Taylor.
Now that was a shot.
Did you see his mugshot?
Yeah, I saw it.
Now, his hairline was already crazy, but man, he didn't get guess he had no barber.
Listen here,
that
man.
brother looked like
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Oh man, I did. We had to go and take ID pictures, and so the guy said, "Yeah, I'll use that one," because and I say it a lot. Have you ever seen some of these mugshots?
Oh yeah.
And you go, "Oh, they did it."
Oh yeah, you'd be like,
they're guilty.
Like you guilty. Whatever they said you did, you did.
And probably some more.
you most definitely did it.
Byron, thank you, man. Clark, thank you. All right.
63 to 3.
Jermaine.
63 to 3. I hate Byron over here, man.
You didn't have a mercy rule?
No, man. We
no
kept
mercy
going.
rules.
Hey, he stuffed a mud hole in me too.
Is there mercy rules in game?
It's supposed to be, but this guy had no mercy, and then he talked the whole time as he was whooping me.
My godson back in I know we gotta go, we're running along. But my godson, we used to play Wii Bowling.
Oh yeah.
We did Wii Bowling.
Yeah.
He was good, man. He was good. He was good. Well, I just retired.
Oh.
So I'm getting tired of getting beat by this 5-year-old. So dude, I got down there, man. I got good. Any other time, Poppy, let's bowl. After I whipped him,
he didn't want to.
He won't no more of me.
B, I'm coming.
B don't look worried.
No, he don't look worried at all. He put the flippity paps on
126 to 6.
Yeah, in 2 games.
He scored 3 more. Hey, y'all, the good Lord will and creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go for this place of peace.